When I first stepped into Athens, I had nothing but the strength in my limbs and a quiet resolve in my soul. I was not blown here by disaster, like Zeno. I was drawn here by purpose, though I couldn't name it then. I had no letters of introduction, no wealth, no prospects, only the reputation of a boxer clinging to me like sweat on old robes. But I had eyes open wide with curiosity and hands ready to work. I didn't come seeking comfort. I came seeking meaning. And if that meant labor by night and learning by day, so be it. The city didn't welcome me, but neither did it break me. I earned my place here, one jug of water at a time. They called me Freantles, a pun on my name, a label for the water drawer. It was meant in jest, I think. But I embraced it. A man cannot be mocked by what he willingly becomes. I worked for gardeners, crushed grain for bakers, and watered the great homes of the city. I labored not because I was poor, though I was, but because I believed work shaped character. At night, the city saw me toiling. By day, they saw me listening quietly in the porticos. Some scoffed. He looks too well fed to be so poor. They dragged me before the magistrates, suspicious of how I survived. I simply brought forth those I served. They testified. The court rewarded me, not just with silver, but with respect. In my life, I never fled from effort. Labor and learning were not separate things. They were both acts of discipline, both expressions of virtue. It was through crates, I believe, that I first encountered Zeno. I was no young prodigy, already a man hardened by labor, slow to grasp lofty ideas. But in Zeno's words, I found not abstractions, but a mirror of life. The rigor, the clarity, the uncompromising commitment to virtue. I became his student, not for a year or two, but for 19 years. They mocked me as the donkey. I did not protest. Donkeys, after all, carry the heaviest loads. I was methodical, perhaps slow, but what I learned, I never forgot. I copied his teachings not on papyrus, but on whatever I could afford, oyster shells, bones. I paid him a portion of my wages, as law demanded. And I kept working long after others had accepted patronage or comfort. I did not study philosophy to escape labor. I labored because philosophy demanded it. Fame came slowly, and with it, ridicule. One playwright, Sisytheus, mocked me before the crowd, called me a fool, compared me to dumb herds. The crowd watched, waiting for my reply. I gave them none. I sat silent, unshaken. The people erupted, not in laughter, but in applause. They saw not weakness in my stillness, but strength. Later, the playwright apologized. I forgave him without pause. Even the greatest are mocked, I told him. Would I be less than they if I took offense? Stoicism was not about what I said. It was about what I endured. My patience was not passivity, it was a choice, an exercise of virtue. I wrote over 50 books, on time, on duty, on sensation, on the nature of virtue. Most are lost now, but a few fragments remain. One says, "Fate guides the willing, drags the unwilling." Another, more resolute, "Lead on, Zeus and destiny, to the goal fixed long ago." I will follow. Even if I resist, I will still be led. I believed poetry could shape the soul. That beauty was not a distraction from truth, but a way to deliver it. Like breath through a trumpet, form gave force to thought. I did not write for applause. I wrote to align words with life, and life with nature. We taught in the open air, not in cloistered academies. The world itself was our classroom. My words were not meant for the elite, but for anyone who wished to live well. I taught that philosophy is not theory, it is practice. That virtue is the only good. That suffering, when in pursuit of justice or wisdom, is not evil, but strength. I told them, you may be poor, mocked, even beaten, but if you hold to virtue, you are free. I did not ask for admiration, only for honesty, for endurance, for a willingness to ask the hardest question of all. How should I live? I lived 100 years, long by any measure, and even at the end, I did not seek escape. My gums had failed me, and I fasted by doctor's order. When they told me I could eat again, I declined. I've already come too far, I said. No need to turn back. And so I passed, on my own terms, not because I was weary, but because I had fulfilled my course. I had studied, I had taught, I had endured. What more could I ask? To live in accordance with nature is to live with courage, and when the time comes, to die with grace. My life was not extraordinary. I carried water. I copied texts. I walked behind greater men. But I followed with purpose. I held the line. And in the end, I became something else. Not a genius, not a hero. Just a man who practiced what he preached. A student who listened. A worker who labored. An apostle of virtue.
Anything done with virtue is noble, even the drawing of water. Cleanthes.